Welcome to Casa Caribe, and welcome also to my first live video here on my channel. So I decided to make this live video to celebrate 1,000 subscribers and to say thank you to all of you who watch my videos, like my videos, subscribe, comment, and everything. I'm really happy to be part of this natural life community that is growing every day. Another reason why I decided to make this live video is because normally my videos are very edited. So I decided to make one video in which I show you the process of how to dye with natural colors and very step-by-step process, but you can see everything because I'm not going to edit and it's all going to be live. As I say, this is my first live video, so bear with me. It's not going to be very polished, it's not going to be very professional. I'm learning what I'm doing, so please have a little bit of patience with me. So I'm going to tell you about all the materials that you're going to need. So first you're going to need, of course, your fabric. And in this video, I'm going to dye with this cotton bag. You're also going to need your dye stuff. And we're going to use onion skins. I decided to use onion skins in this video because they are very easy to have. Normally, it's something that you waste at home. And it also gives you a very beautiful yellow. You will also not going to need a pot to put the fabric on. In this video, I'm going to use this glass container so you can see the color changing. But you can also use every other pot that you have at home. Something like this, for example. The important thing is that it is a not reactive material. So if you use copper or if you use alum, for example, it is reactive, so it will react with the color and the color will change a little bit. You're also going to need water, just regular water from the tap, and an electric hob like this one to provide some heat, something to weight the fabric and the dye stuff, and a wooden spoon to mix the dye stuff. So we're going to begin. I have my fabric here. It's been already pre-treated and Mordent. I Mordent this fabric with aluminum acetate. If you want to know how to pre-treat and Mordent the fabric, I have another video here on my channel, so go and check my channel. So how to pre-treat cellulose fabrics like this one. I leave it soaked in water overnight, and this is very important because this will help the color to attach the fabric evenly. If you don't soak the fabric, you will have pieces that are going to be more darker than other. So it's a very important process. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to weight the fabric to see how much dye stuff we need. Okay, so we weigh the fabric and it's roughly 27-30 grams. So we're going to use proportion of 1:1. So we're going to use the same amount of onion skins as the weight of the fabric. So we're going to use 30 grams of onion skins. And we're going to weight them. Oh, I forgot to take off the... Okay. I want to use this one that are bigger. So 30 grams of onion skins. Yeah, you will need a lot of onion skins. Here we go. And then we're putting on the hob. Oh wait, that was so much. Oh, yeah, the thing here is not working very much. So that is. Okay, we put it on the hob. We're going to add some water. As I say, it's just regular water from the top. You can also use rainwater if you want to be more sustainable. You can also use it, it's perfect. With onion skins, you don't need to measure the pH of your water because they are not very reactive with the pH. But with other dyes, like Mother, for example, you will have to taste the pH of the water, because if the water is acid or if the water is alkaline, you will get a different color, different results. But with onion skins, you don't have to worry about it. So now we have all the water and all the onion skins, and we can turn on the heat. Okay. And now it's on. So something that I've been asked a lot is, when you dye with onion skins, will you get the smell of the onion on your dye or your fabric? Well, the truth is, when you are dyeing, you will notice a strong smell of onion. But once you dye all your fabric, the smell is gone. You're not going to have a fabric that smells like that. Some dyes, for example, lavender, you will get the smell on the fabric, but hey, it's lavender, so it's a very good smell, so we don't have to worry about that. So now we have to wait until the onion skin has released all the color that they have inside. As you can see, it's a little bit yellow already. Yeah, with onion skin is very fast. So while this is here, I'm going to make a little bit of tidy here, tidy a little bit. And I was going to explain also another question that people ask me about the fabric that you need to use. So natural dyes only work with natural fabric. This means fabric that is being taken from a natural source. There are two main groups of natural fabric, natural fiber. We have one group that is safe for plants and vegetables, and the other group that is safe for animals. So the one that is safe for plants and vegetables, we call cellulose, and the one that is safe for animal is protein fabric. So cellulose can be cotton, linen, but also hemp, some types of banana, and everything that is made from a fabric, a vegetable. Instead, in protein is normally wool or everything that is made from an animal source, like wool and silk. Natural dyes don't work with synthetic fabrics. Synthetic fabrics are, for example, polyester, acetate. These fabrics are made for petroleum, most of it for oil, so they don't have the component to attach to the dyes, or the natural dyes. You will need synthetic dyes to dye synthetic fabric. And in between the natural fabric dyes, there are also, as I said, the two difference, and they act very different. Cellulose fabric are very different than botanic fabric. Botanic fabric tend to take the natural dye, the color very fast, produce very strong colors, and also very long-lasting colors. It's just everything is inside the chemical, say, component of the fabric. With cellulose fabrics, it's a little bit more difficult to dye. They don't take the color very fast. They are not very long-lasting, the colors, so you will need to pre-treat the fabric a little bit longer. When I'm talking about pre-treating the fabric, I'm talking about scouring or washing the fabric, and I'm talking about mordanting the fabric. So mordanting the fabric is adding an agent, mordant, who will bond with the fiber, and then the dye material will bond this agent, so the color will stay in the fabric for longer. As I said before, I have some videos in my channel which I explain this. I also have some posts on my website. It's www.casacaribe.art, and you will find here also all the explanation on how to mordant cellulose fabric or protenic fabric, because you have to mordant them differently. Okay, so this one is getting very, very hot. And let's see if now we have any color. I don't know in the camera you can see, but here you can see that I already have yellow, a very vibrant yellow is going on, and it's been not even 10 minutes. It's like with onion skin is really fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put the fabric inside, and I'm going to release the color and take the fabric at the same time. What I'm going to do this, normally I first extract the color and then I add the fabric and do the dye bath. But because if I do this in this video will be like one long hour, like 1 day long video, I'm going to put the dye stuff inside and also going to put the fabric. This will cause stain a little bit, but just for the, let's say for the sake of the video, I'm going to do it so you can see all the process. Okay, so as can you see, we have some color on it. And I'm going to take the fabric, or the back in this case. As I said before, it's soaking. Okay. And I'm going to put it inside very gently. Okay, so it's very important that when you are dyeing, the fabric can move freely on the pot. This is not the case because my pot is very small, but as I say, I wanted to use it because it's made of glass and you can see everything that is happening inside. But before I explain about these, for example, in a pot like this piece of fabric can move freely, and it's something that you need. If the fabric cannot move freely inside, it will get a stain. It will get some part that have more color and some part that don't have any color. So it is not a very good result. But as I say, it's just for the video so you can see the color. So what color would you get with onion skins? It depends of the Mordent material that you're using, and it also depends of how you treat the fabric. I'm going to show you here in the my favorite book of Jean Dean White Color, how to make and how to use natural dyes. I'm going to leave the link later on the description. And she put here a swatch with onion skin and the color you will get. Let me see if I can show you. So the fabric, without any pre-treat, you will get a very subtle yellow. With aluminum acetate as a mordant, you will get a very bright yellow. It's more a mustard yellow. With just iron mordant, so this means iron in the beginning, you will get sort of this brown. With iron at the beginning as a mordant, most of the time you get a very browny color and very more earth tone colors. And when you use iron dip at the end, you will get green. I don't know if the camera you can see, but it is a very olive green. What do I mean about iron dip at the end? So once you dye the fabric, you have the yellow in the fabric. What you can do is you can take a container like this one, a plastic container, fill it with water, and then add a small quantity of iron water that you can make at home. I also have a video explaining how to do it. Or you can use ferrous sulfate, this one. If you use this one, you need a very, very tiny quantity. You put it in the water, you mix, and then you put the fabric inside. And you will see that in 1 or 2 minutes, it will change the color. Don't leave the fabric inside the iron water for too much, for example, leave it for 24 hours, because the iron will damage the fabric, especially if you're using protein fabric. So let's see how this is going. Never do this at home, never move it. And I don't know if you can see, but now we have a very yellowy color, maybe in contrast. So with cellulose fabric, the color came very, very long. You will have to leave it there for at least half an hour to get a very strong color. With protein fabric, normally the color is soaked very easy. So for example, if you're dyeing one fabric that is cellulose and the other fabric that is proteinic, my recommendation is to put the cellulose fabric first. So the cellulose fabric has time to absorb of the dye that is there, and then put the proteinic fabric at the end, because the proteinic fabric will soak all the color very, very fast. If you put the proteinic fabric and the cellulose fabric inside at the same time, the proteinic fabric is just going to take all the color and it's not going to leave any color for the cellulose fabric. So as I say, put first the cellulose fabric, give it some time, so you have time to absorb some of the color of the dye, and then put the proteinic fabric so you can absorb all the color that is left. Something very also important is that people tend to think that, for example, here, because I have a small pot and a small container, the color seems more strong in the water, so you have more color. And if you use a bigger pot, you will have less color, you have more water. So at the beginning, we weighed the fabric and we weighed the dye stuff, in this case, the onion skin. And we did a proportion of 1:1. So the amount of dye that is going to be on the fabric, on the water, is the amount of dye that the fabric will absorb. So it doesn't matter how much water do we have inside, because what is important is how much of the onion skin we have inside. So if you have a big pot and you have the same 30 grams of onion skin, you will have the same result if you have this small pot with a less amount of water. This is to say that use a big pot even if the color seems a little bit more fade than this one, because the amount of dye particles inside that water, it will be the same, so you will have the same result. What doesn't matter is the water, as I say, it matters is how much dye particles there are inside. Yeah, I know, this makes so much scary noise. Bear with me please a second, because I'm going to get my tongs, because it's getting very, very hot and I don't want to burn myself. So it's just going to be 1 sec. Here I am again, sorry about that. Yeah, because with the tongs, you can take easily the fabric. So it's been 5 minutes since we put the fabric inside, more or less. And I don't know if you can see, it's taking the color. This one is the raw fabric, and this one is getting very, very, very yellowy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the fabric inside a little bit longer. And we're also going to put the other one, because I want to explain to you and show you how it changed with iron water. If we have time. I don't want this video to be like 1 day long. So with onion skin, you will get the color right away. As you can see here, the fabric is really yellow. But for example, with avocado skins or avocado stones, the color need time to oxidate. So most of the time when people ask me why I can have the same result that you have with with avocado skins, they tend to get a very soft pinky yellow, but they want a more rich millennial yellow, millennial pink. And this is because you don't leave time to oxidate. So with onion skins, you don't have to do this. With onion skin, you can wait 30 minutes and the fabric is going to be ready. If you want, you can wait and leave the fabric inside 24 hours. But it depends on the result that you want. But with onion skins, with avocado skins, I recommend that you leave the fabric inside the dye water for at least 24 hours. So this dye can oxidate and it will give you a more reddish color. Sometimes when you dye with avocado skins, you get a brown color and you're very disappointed. But when you leave it for 24 hours, you will get this red at the end. If you want to know how to dye with avocado skins, I was talking about that. I have an ebook on my website in which I explain every single step of how to dye with avocado skins. This ebook is for free until the 1st of September. All you have to do is go to my website. I'm going to leave the link on the description down below. Subscribe to my newsletter and you will receive a copy of this ebook for free to your email. As I say, it's only going to be until the 1st of September. So you have 1 week and a half to get your copy for free, and then are going to be selling for £1.50. So it's not very expensive, I think. And the reason why it's not going to be free forever is because I'm working in a new ebook that I want to give for free on September. So if you subscribe now, you can get this one for free, and then on September the other one for free. So yeah, it's an opportunity. In this book, I explain very basic stuff about mordanting, about the fabric to use, about how to mordant with soy meal if you don't want to use salt mordant like potassium alum, acetate alum, and all of that. If you want to use soy meal, I also explain in this book. And I explain the technique of how to dye with avocado skins or stones. Stones would be the seeds. And how to get a really beautiful millennial pink with this technique. This technique that I explained in my ebook is a technique that can be used with onion skin and can be used with other dye stuff. So when you have the basics of knowledge, you can start to experiment with other plants, other flowers, and so on. So it's getting very hot here, and I'm going to reduce the temperature a little bit. With natural dyes, it's not about the faster time, so it's not the mass heat, is a slow process. So they prefer to be simmer under a long period of time instead of just apply a lot of heat. With cellulose fabric, you can do that. You can apply a lot of heat. It's not recommendable, but you can do that. With protein fabric like wool and silk, it's better to maintain a low temperature to the simmer point and then apply this temperature very gradually. So you have the wood that is that is cold, and then with the water you start to put up the heat very slowly. Because if you have boiling water and you put your wool inside and your wool is cold, you will destroy the fabric in a way. The wool is a fiber wool. It's, let's say, this string that has a lot of scalps, so like a fish, something like that. And if you put it right away in very hot color, all of these slabs were going to open, and you will going to have a wool that is not very nice. It looks like it's already worn a lot. So now you can see how much color do we have here. The color that you will have when it's when it's wet like this, is more strong than when you dry the fabric. So bear in mind that this color is not going to be as strong. The color will be more fade, something maybe like this. So as I say, I'm going to remove this from here because I want you to see the difference with the iron dip. So, put it here. This is just water from the top. It doesn't have anything else on top. Ooh, be very careful. Okay, and we put it there. And you can see you will lose a lot of color, but that's nothing to worry about because the color that is already on the fabric is already attached. All the color that you'll be losing, for example, is just color that hadn't been attached to the fabric. All the color that we will be losing here is color that is supposed to be still in the water because I wanted to put also this one inside. Yeah, so don't worry, it's not color that is being lost, it's not color that is getting detached from the fabric. As I explained before with wool, this water was cold and the fabric was warm, really hot. I can do that with cellulose. I can put the hot water in the cold water, but do not do that with wool. Leave the wool to cool down inside the pot. So you turn off the heat, leave the pot to cool down, and when the pot is cooled down, you can then wash the wool. You cannot just jump it like I did with the cellulose. Cellulose is more resistant fabric. So as you can see, such a beautiful color. Normally when you weigh the fabric very well, you will not have color at the end. Like all the cellulose, all the dye will be get inside the fabric and you will not get color here. If you get color, this is called an exhausted bath. If you still have color on it, you can still add more fabric. This fabric is going to be less, let's say, strong in color as the first bath, but you can still use it until you don't have any more color on the water. And every time will be this one will be the first bath, this one will be the second of exhausted bath, and then you have the third bath, exhausted bath, until you don't have any more color. With regular things like onion skin, avocado skins, dandelion flowers, for example, you will get one or two the first bath and then the exhausted bath. But for other things like mother that are very rich in color or roundwood, or cochinilla, you normally have more exhausted bath. Okay, so we have here the first bag that we dye. Look how beautiful. And I want to show you how to change the color with iron water, but I'm going to use iron sulfate so you can see the result right away. With iron water, you need a little bit more time, but I'm going to explain both of them. So I'm going to remove the water that I have here, and I'm going to add new water. So we have more water here. I'm going to put a little bit, sorry about that. So I have water, and I'm going to add a very tiny quantity of ferrous sulfate. When you use iron water, ferrous sulfate, or anything like that, use gloves. Not because they are extremely dangerous, it's because you have to be careful, because you may develop a skin reaction if your skin is very sensitive. Sorry. When using iron water or ferrous sulfate, always use a bowl or a container that is not reactive, for example, plastic, and a spoon that is also not reactive, like this one that is stainless steel. And we're going to use a small quantity, very, very small. If you want a richer color, you can add more, but it's always better to start with a really small quantity and then adding a little bit up. We mix. With iron water and with sulfate, ferrous sulfate, always use, for example, the same container, the same spoon, because the iron particles are going to be there for a long time. So if you use this container later for something else, for example, soak in the water again, you will have small particles of iron water and they will do all the other colors. It will get more browny colors because you will have iron inside. Also very, very, very important when you're dyeing with natural colors, never use the things that you use to natural dye to cook. You will see that some of the things are the same, like wooden spoon, this is for make tea, this is for make for cook, for weight, but never mix them. Why? It's not that natural dyes are very dangerous, so you cannot eat with them. It's because even if it's natural, you can have reactions. So you can have skin reactions, or you can have throat reactions, or in your eyes. Yeah, because you may have allergies, or maybe irritate your skin because you have a very amount a component onions. Normally when you're cooking, you just cut 1 or 2 onions. But here we have like most 50 onions in total, and you are manipulating 50 onions at the same time. So it's always better to protect yourself and not to use the same things than for cooking. When you use it for natural dye, only use it for that and never return there to the kitchen. Another rule is, you cannot see here, but my window is open. The window in the upper part of the house. And it's because, as I explained before, the steam that these produce is not the similar steam that when you are cooking something and you have just 1 onion. So much onion here can cause irritation on your throat. So it's always better to keep the windows open when you're dyeing with natural fabric. This is the bag that we just recently dyed. This was the raw. This was with onion skin. And now we're going to see how it changed with sulfate, ferrous sulfate. You will see right away the color is going to get dull, a more browny color. And here we put another one so we can see the difference. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you can see right away. This is getting greeny, it's getting browny. I'm going to turn on the heat a little bit. It's right away, you can see it right away. If you're using iron water, it's going to take a little bit longer. If you're using ferrous sulfate, it's going to be just right away. I've been talking about a lot of iron water in this video. I'm just going to explain what is iron water. So iron water is a water that you create with rusty nails. You add vinegar, water, and rusty nails, and you leave it for 1 month. And the vinegar is going to get the nails and it's going to rust them a little bit more. And all of this iron is going to get into the water. So you're going to have iron water, which means that you're going to have water with a high quantity of iron particles inside. And these iron particles are the ones that then are going to attach with the dye and are going to change the color because they are going to attach to different parts of the dyes. I know this sounds really, really weird, and I would like to explain in another video about the different phytochemicals that are inside the plants that make one color, yellow, and other color green, and other get blue, like indigo, and different colors. But this I'm going to explain in another video because it's a very dense topic. Okay, so now we have it here, and I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. Okay. I think now you can see the difference. Yeah, it's really feel like magic, but it's not magic. It's just chemistry and science. Well, a little bit of magic also. So give me 1 second. I'm going to wash the iron of the fabric because, as I say, iron can damage the fiber. So you need to wash it very, very careful and very, very careful at the end. What to do with the water? You can reuse it. Matter of fact, let's do it right now. I bring this piece of linen that is dyed with avocado skins, very strong pink color, and we're going to throw it here. And what color do you think we're going to get? Let's see. As I say, iron water dull the color. They give a more brownie. It's like the iron water put the colors into the dark side, for so to speak. Sorry, I'm being so excited with the iron water that I forgot a little bit about this. So I'm going to mix. And you can see after just a couple minutes, you will get purple. So I'm going to wash these, and then we're going to remove this from the dye, and I'm going to show you the results, and I think we're finished for today. Well, just give me 1 second. Okay, here I am again. So look at this beautiful green that you can get with audience skin. It's really, really beautiful. Green is a very difficult color to get in the world of natural dyes. It's weird because when you go to see nature, green is the most present color. Green is the color of the leaves. So you will get, and you will think that if you put all the leaves inside, you will get green, and green will be the easiest color to get in natural dye. It is not. It's yellow. Yellow is the easiest color to get. Most of the time when you start dyeing, you will notice that everything you dye is yellow and it's difficult to find other colors. But when you use iron water or sulfatous ferrous sulfate, you will have a most vast hues of color. So you will manage to expand your, let's say, repertoire of colors. So this is the green we get. I did an experiment. I put avocado skins dye fabric inside the iron, and you will see this pink, and then you've got purple. And now let's remove this one. I filled the pot with water because I cannot use the other pot because I put iron water on that. So I'm gonna turn off the heat. No, this is on. Turn off the heat. Remove the fabric. Of course, be very careful when you do this. You are dealing with very hot water. You don't want to get burn, so be very careful when doing this. Okay. I normally like to leave fabric to cool down inside the dye. It's just my preference, but you can wash it right away like I'm doing right now. Okay. So here we have. So we still have a lot of color inside, a lot of color. I think it's because I measure wrong. So I put so much iron skin, and also because we didn't leave it for longer. But what you can do with this? As I say, you can use it later as an exhausted bath, or you can transform it into a lake pigment. I have a video of how to transform the exhausted bath into a lake pigment. And with the lake pigment, you can do watercolors. You can also use oil. You can just make it oil painted with lake pigments, ink. There's so much, or also paint to a screen printing on fabric. You can use a lot of things. So with natural dyes, there's no waste. What to do with the water? For example, we have the water from the iron dip that we did before. We have the water that we use here to wash. We eventually will have this water. So you can drain it on your patio with your plants. For example, this water that is just water with color, you can give it to your plants. You can throw it down the sink. With iron water, it's better to, if you have a very rich quantity of iron water in that pot, the better thing to do is just add more water. So the amount of particles that are going to be there are going to be huge, and then drain it to the sink. You can also give it to your plants. Some plants like the want more iron on the soil, but you cannot give them, let's say, every day. Otherwise, you're going to kill them. It's just if you have a iron water dip, once every 3 months, it's okay. Every day is not okay. So now I'm going to show you the results. So we have the raw fabric, as I say, was cotton, cellulose fabric. Then we have the fabric dyed with onion skins, beautiful mustard yellow. And then we have the fabric dyed with onion skin, and then we add iron water ferrous sulfate on top. A beautiful green. Will the color fade? Okay, So the color in natural dyes fade as on synthetic dyes. And also sometimes you buy a pair of jeans, and when you wash the jeans, you realize that it lost most of the color and it also stained all of the fabric. So yeah, the color will eventually fade. But if you dye the fabric correctly, so if you pre-treat the fabric, you score and wash the fabric, and you apply the Mordent solution well, and you apply the color, the dye after really well, it's very likely that it's going to last a long time. We still have examples in museums of fabric that have been dyed with natural colors, the same natural color that we're using. So it's madder, it's indigo, it's longwood, it's onion, and they are still in the museum with the color. Yes, the color is a bit of a fade, but as I said, it happened also with synthetic fabrics. My recommendation is wash the fabric by hand with a pH neutral soap, so you don't change the color. Never put it in full sun, so there is sunny outside. Don't put your fabric in some video. I put them, but because they are very beautiful, the video is very, you get a different light, but don't put your fabric to dry outside on the sun. So I think that's all for the video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. 1,000 subscribers, it's just a lot, and I'm very, very happy for that. Thank you so much. If you want to know more videos like these, subscribe to my channel and also clicking on the bell down below, so every time I upload a video you will get a notification. And that's all. Show you the results again, and see you in the next video. Bye.